My real family name is Tomaszewski. My grandparents were the founders of Yiddish art theater in the United States. They put on shows, kind of the prototypes of musicals in many ways, but basically these were popular entertainments that featured very major sociological issues as their subject. They had lots of stories and songs and things that were entertaining, but they were about very serious things and paved the way for shows like Porgy and Bess and West Side Story and so on. So for all of these reasons, I feel it's kind of appropriate for me to introduce our next honoree. I have one small personal story. Well, no, I'll first say what I have to say. Steven Spielberg is a maker of iconic films. You possibly have heard of a few of them, like Jaws, E.T., Close Encounters, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, but these spectacular films really reveal his great gifts as a storyteller and his deep understanding of people's fears, desires, needs, and hopes. And films are certainly entertainment, but they can do so much more than divert us or make us laugh. And Steven Spielberg has consistently transcended entertainment to become an inspired teacher, directing a series of films that illuminate critical episodes from all of our shared pasts. Armistead and Lincoln reckoned with contradictions that are inherent in our free America that also created the institution of slavery. One of my personal favorites, the film Color Purple. The Color Purple revealed so much to me about music, faith, family, and identity that we of all races and ethnicity so profoundly share. In Saving Private Ryan, we all experienced the terror our brave soldiers faced in storming beaches on D-Day, but also the challenges of loyalty and risk that all of life seemed to present. Schindler's List, of course, gave us insight into the courage of one man to alleviate the suffering of Jews under the Holocaust, and how even one man can make a difference. A very famous, wise Jewish saying, "He who saves one man saves the world." His films help us to imagine the actual experience of those who lived through all these kinds of events in a telling and unforgettable way. They help to guide our understanding of the past and hopefully to navigate a better future. It's no surprise that his films have become so universally popular and so important to the consciousness of our country. As a philanthropist, he has established the Righteous Persons Foundation, using all the profits from Schindler's List. He founded what became the USC Shoah Foundation, which has recorded more than 53,000 interviews with survivors and witnesses of the Holocaust and other genocides. He's also the chairman emeritus of Starlight Children's Foundation. Well, recipient of Directors Guild of America's Lifetime Achievement Award, the Irving G. Thalberg Award, the Cecil B. DeMille Award, the Kennedy Center's Honors, 3 Academy Awards, and many other career tributes. In the early 1970s, Steven offered me a part in one of his films, Close Encounters, which I can't believe I turned down. But it meant 3 months of being in a blimp hangar in Mobile, Alabama, and the script that he sent me had like one line in it at that point. But I'm hoping that in some way these kind words will get me back onto your vistas. So it's my very great pleasure to announce that the recipient, oh no, that's the wrong page, to announce very simply that the state of California honors with great joy Steven Spielberg.
Very good. Thank you, Michael. I really was lonely without you. You would have been such a benefit to all of us. And he didn't have any lines. There was no lines written for him. But he had been doing the young people's concerts, which I was a huge fan of, and I thought that if he did the movie and he was going to play the ARP, the big synthesizer, and he was going to have the entire conversation with the mothership, so you blew that chance.
But I would have wanted to write the whole thing.
Exactly. But that would have been good too. So, thank you very much. Thank you, Governor, and thank you, Ann. And this is a great honor. It's great to. I mean, I'm a Californian, probably officially more now, being inducted into the California Hall of Fame than I ever was before. I came from, born in Cincinnati, Ohio, but I was sort of raised in Phoenix and Scottsdale, Arizona. And, I had always dreamed of coming to California. And I kept asking my dad and mom, can't we move to California? And my dad said, I'm very happy here. And my mom had all of her friends there, my sisters, their friends. And my dad said, why do you want to get closer to the ocean? I said, no, I want to go to Hollywood. And I was serious. I wanted to be as close to Hollywood as possible. And so eventually my dad got transferred from IBM to a place up in Palo Alto called Scientific Data Systems, run by Max Pilevsky. And that was our golden opportunity to come to the Golden State. And my sisters cried all the way, 400 miles in our station wagon. All the way from Scottsdale, all the way up to Los Gatos, where I did my final, year of high school. But I was so happy. I just couldn't wait to graduate so I could go to USC and then be part of the movie industry. And I was able to finally graduate high school, and I went to USC for the interview, and they turned me down. And I showed them 4 or 5 of my 16mm films I had made on my own, and they turned me down. So I just, in a sense, I had to buy my way back into USC by joining the board and all of that years later to become a student of the college, university I really wanted to attend. But I did, and I'm very proud to say I went to Long Beach State College. At the time, it was a state college. I loved it there. And made all my friends there. But California to me was really, because I was so obsessed with wanting to be a movie director, the California to me represented really about a 20-mile reach from the Warner Brothers and Universal Studios to the studios at Culver City and the old MGM. That was California to me. From Disney, Universal, and Warner's in the Valley to Culver City and the Celtic Studios, in Culver City, and then a little, I guess was south of that, Paramount. That's all I cared about until I really started doing what I love to do, which is drive. If you live in California, you must know how to drive a motor vehicle. And I know rapid transit is very important, and and you've many initiatives to get us not off the freeways and into the. But I'd like to be behind the wheel of my Tesla, which doesn't no noxious emissions. And that's how not in the Tesla, of course, but that's how in the 60s, when Mamas and the Papas, when we moved from Phoenix to California, the most prophetic thing was the Mamas and the Papas had just released their hit California Dreaming. And that became my anthem and grew into a real love of the state. And I've traveled extensively throughout the state. And all my kids were born here. I met my wife here. Everything that has meant anything significantly to me that will follow me in other lives has all accumulated here in California. So for me to receive this honor, I really truly now, and for the first time tonight, do feel, thanks to all of you, like a native Californian. So thank you very much for that. Thank you.